Thompson?
You're now the attorney-in-fact for the state name.
No, sir, Mr. Thompson. You know I don't put up with any of that. You understand?
Right.
Listen to me.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You understand I'm not going to put up with that?
Yes, sir.
Not anything like that. You understand? Do you understand me?
Yes.
There's not going to be any private citizen, sovereign citizen, any of that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're heading to Florida to check out one of my new favorite judges, someone who doesn't play around, especially when dealing with so-called sovereign citizens and their made-up license plates. And when I say this judge takes no nonsense, I really mean it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about in just a moment.
Before the court today for your affidavit of violation of probation. You filed a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense. I've denied most of it. I'm going to probably deny the rest of it.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got some education to go, huh?
Sir?
So I've got some education to go.
Yes, sir. You're here today by, you got a new law violation of driving my license, suspender, and vote. You don't want to have an attorney appointed to represent you?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
But that's the thing is, I've never even been pulled over. I don't know how I got a license or a warrant or anything. If haven't been pulled over in more than a year, any emergency contact. I went to go pick up a records request and they gave me a warrant instead of the records.
Do y'all know anything about this?
As to the new law.
Do you have a driver's license?
No, sir.
Don't answer that. I shouldn't ask that question.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Strike that from the record. I won't do that if you won't do any other mess. I won't ask you that question.
His name is Judge Brantley Clark. And trust me, he doesn't mess around. Today, we've got 4 different courtroom moments featuring Judge Clark, each showing exactly why he's earned that reputation. So let's dive right in and see how he handles business in his courtroom.
But you transfer that to the judge?
Just filed. I just filed in the court file.
I tried to and they wouldn't accept it.
All right. Was he arrested? Is there a new arrest for driving license, suspender, and vote? State?
Yes, there was a bench warrant issued on 1/23/24 that was executed 1/29/24.
But I was just doing a records request and had an agreed upon date to pick it up, went up there to pick it up and gave me a warrant, so the records are requested.
What I'm gonna let y'all
Return
do
that?
Listen, I'm gonna leave him on probation. I'm gonna set this for preliminary on April. What's that April date?
April 17th.
April 17th. I'm gonna let him take care of that in county court and see what happens. Okay?
Thank you.
And I think that's the only violation he had.
Yes, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing on this, and then we'll see you back in April, and you can take care of that in county court.
All
Okay?
right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Sign a notice.
Judge Clark came close to a major slip-up when he almost asked the defendant to admit, on record, that he had been driving without a license. If the defendant had actually confirmed that, it could have been used against him, and this guy might have ended up with solid grounds to challenge or even overturn any future conviction.
The beneficiary, said Alexander, a human being.
Mr. Alexander, I don't accept any of that. If you want to state your name, state your name. If you don't, that's fine.
I'm Cedric Alexander, the beneficiary, sir.
No, sir. I don't. The beneficiary doesn't mean anything to me. Says, are you Cedric Alexander?
I'm a human being, Cedric Alexander, not the corporation.
What I'm be held with that.
I'm a human being, not a fictitious entity.
On your first appearance, I'm going to appoint the office of public defender. You've got a failure to appear on a misdemeanors. I have ordered to be held without bond on that. I'm going to leave that as it is. You got a possession of methamphetamine and see, that might be all the same thing. Yeah. You just got a failure to appear.
The officer didn't even come and do depositions because it's a lie.
You've got to drive my license, suspender, and vote. I'm gonna find there's probable cause. I'm gonna set. That's a third degree felony, plus 5 years Florida Department of Corrections. $5,000. I am going to set a $5,000 bond. I'll see you March 11th at 9 o'clock. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right, go ahead and step out for me.
In this situation, it looks like the defendant drove to the records office to pick up some paperwork, but staff there noticed he was behind the wheel without a valid license. That led to a citation being issued later on, which now counts as a probation violation. However, Judge Clark decided to give him a chance to resolve his issues in county court first, before determining whether he'll face jail time or have his probation revoked entirely. The next case is a quick one. just an arraignment, but it definitely takes an unexpected turn.
Preliminary adversarial hearing, you're representing yourself. You know, at any point in time, you can ask an attorney to be appointed to represent you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you still wish to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Loving, you can call your first witness.
The state calls officer Zip. Richard Zip.
All right. Just swear the witness in.
Testimony about is the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Richard Ziff,
Where are you employed?
Panel City Police Department.
Were you working in November of 2023?
I was.
On November 11th, 2023, did you have occasion to come in contact with defendant Josiah Beecham?
I was.
How did you come in contact with him?
It was an investigative stop. Mr. Beecham's vehicle was having a hard time maintaining its lane. I conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle. Vehicle drove over the curb. Immediately when I stopped the vehicle, I can smell marijuana coming from within the vehicle while still sitting inside my own vehicle. As I got closer to the vehicle, I can smell the marijuana getting stronger. When I made contact with Mr. Beecham in the driver's seat, I informed him the nature of the stop, also told him I smelled marijuana in the vehicle. At that point, Mr. Beecham was saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida, making other statements that he was not driving, he was traveling.
I've got to say, that one was short, simple, and to the point. If he refuses to identify himself, send him to jail, and if he does, well, he's still going back for violating probation. Now, the next two hearings are much longer. First up, we've got a probable cause hearing featuring a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen who decides to represent himself. And let's just say, it does not go well for him.
And at one point, I asked him to identify himself. He refused to identify himself. He began to call 911 and requested a Bay County deputy respond to the scene because he refused to cooperate with me.
Officer Zip, at some point, based on the smell of marijuana, did you search the vehicle and Mr. Beecham's person?
I did.
During that search, did you locate anything of note, of significance?
We found trafficking amounts of controlled substances. I believe we were, one of them tested positive for cocaine. There was marijuana, and we believe fentanyl.
Did you find any firearms during the search?
There was a firearm located underneath the driver's seat that Mr. Beecham was sitting on.
I thought I had heard every strange sovereign citizen argument out there, but this one was a first. The defendant actually brought up the Treaty of Florida, also known as the Adams-Onis Treaty, which was a real agreement between Spain and the United States in 1819, but it had absolutely nothing to do with personal sovereign rights or the freedom to drive without a license. And speaking of traveling, I've seen hundreds of these so-called right-to-travel videos, and honestly, most of them are just people misunderstanding the law. But on the topic of real travel, let me share something cool. During my recent trips across Europe, from Dublin to Amsterdam, and soon Vienna and Madrid, I've been using my new travel duffel backpack from Exter, today's sponsor. It's a sleek, TSA-approved carry-on that easily converts between a duffel and a backpack. It's got tons of space, keeps your essentials like ID and passport organized, and is built for anyone constantly on the move. You can check it out using the link in the description. And if you use my code SKEPTIC, you'll get an extra discount on top of the partner price. Big thanks to Exter for supporting the channel. Now, let's get back to the courtroom drama. Next voice. I guess what you meant was that his mind had been resting under the travel pad all this time. But now it's time to set that beautiful brain free. Let it soar, even if it's straight into a steel fan.
Beecham,
We did.
did you find out whether he had been previously convicted of any felonies?
He was on inmate release status for a felony. I believe the same charges.
No, that's all my questions at this time.
Mr. Beecham, any questions?
Yes. So did I have a passenger in the car with me at the time?
You did.
Upon you saying you smelled the smell of marijuana, did I say that I smoked hemp?
You did admit to it.
I said I smoked hemp, right?
You said you smoked marijuana.
Sir, did you have on a body cam?
I did.
And okay, thank you, Your Honor. So So I said, so your body cam was on at the time, and did you get any competent basis on the traffic stop as far as like a recording of that video?
I don't have a dash cam.
You don't have a dash cam in your car?
We don't have dash cams in Panama State Police cars.
It's cool. And that was failing to maintain the lane. Okay, was it any other traffic on the road?
You were the only vehicle.
Okay, and how long were you behind me before you actually pulled me over?
I was behind you about 2 blocks, watched you drift over the center line several times.
Several times, drift off the line. Did you have to catch up to me? You know, I have a dash cam and rear view cam. I'm probably gonna introduce the whatchamacallit. Did you actually have to catch up to my vehicle, or?
I did not have to catch up that much. I was right behind you.
I'm saying that the stretch of the road was we was traveling on Beach Drive. That's right.
Yes.
And you were behind me the entire stretch of Beach Drive.
No, I was behind you by Balboa.
By Balboa is when you got behind me. Okay, and so when did you notify me or the passenger about any of the drugs or gun?
Immediately.
Immediately. And what was said about the drugs or gun? What did the passenger say?
The gun was found after you were already detained. We searched the vehicle and it was underneath your seat.
Okay, and was the vehicle registered to me?
Vehicle was registered to your girlfriend.
Okay. And so where were the drugs or anything found in the vehicle?
You had drugs in your pocket. And there was also drugs in the back seat behind your seat.
And you found the drugs?
I found a bag of white substance in your front pocket.
What about any vehicles in the car?
There was a bag in behind the driver's seat that had several other bags that were wrapped in a clear plastic baggies that was behind your seat.
Okay, and so what did you question the passenger on?
That would be my partners who questioned the passenger. I questioned you.
Yes, and what did I admit to any of the drugs?
You refused to talk to me other than saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida.
Exactly. And so you notified me on drugs being found in the car on the scene, you're saying?
Everything was notified to you. I tried reading you implied consent. You refused to actually listen to me. You kept on saying I was violating the Treaty of Florida and you.
Yeah, I was saying you was violating the constitutional rights as well of unreasonable search and seizure.
Voice. What's wild here is that he clearly knows how to say all the right words. He just can't seem to connect them in a way that makes sense. It's like he's smart enough to mention his Fourth Amendment rights, but not quite sharp enough to explain how they were actually violated.
Never really got a direct quote on why you actually stopped the vehicle.
His all body came out.
Okay. And so you never had a conversation with the passenger?
I was mostly talking to you and searching the vehicle. I believe my sergeants wanted to talk to Mr. Wheeler.
Okay, and so you saying your passengers, your other one of your partners found the drugs that was actually in the car?
I found drugs in the vehicle.
Oh, you found the drugs in the vehicle?
Yes.
Behind the driver's seat, you're saying?
And the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay. And you did already admit that I said I admitted to smoking hemp. Okay. And your vehicle is not, you say they don't got dash cams. Okay. Well, at the time, did you have a sight on the passenger and the driver at the whole time?
I was right there behind the A pillar or B pillar.
What was that, sir?
I was there the entire time talking to you.
No, okay. So when you extracted me out the car, did you have eyes on the passenger at that time?
After I removed you from the car, I did not have eyes on the passenger, just you.
Okay, cool. And so in your report, you never wrote a ticket for the failing to maintain lanes, nor did you mention it in your affidavit of complaint.
It's going to be in my report, the narrative on the case.
Well, I mean, this was the probable cause, and this was the immediate review. So is it
Sustained. Ask a question.
okay? Is it a reason why you didn't mention it in your affidavit of complaint?
The affidavit only shows PC for why we arrested you. It doesn't state in there why I had to stop you. It just shows in there why I arrested you. And in regards to you maintaining a lane, that goes back to the DUI, which does not go on the complaint. That goes on the traffic ticket.
Well, I mean, you never mentioned anything of that nature in the ticket, so I was just wondering, is that protocol for you not to explain in the affidavit of complaint?
It's going to be in the report.
Okay, and you say you had a body camera on again, that's correct?
That's Mr. Johnson.
Sustain the objection. Ask your next question.
Okay, and so was it possible for any of the drugs to be the passenger?
It was all in your control. It was within your reach, behind your seat, and then you had drugs in your right front pocket.
I said, was it possible to be the passengers?
It could be possible, but the same drug that was in your right front pocket was also in that bag behind your seat.
What drug was in my right front pocket?
Cocaine.
And about how much was that?
You had a bag that was wrapped in your front pocket.
About how much?
I don't have the numbers on me right now. I have my report in front of me.
Okay. This is a copy of your report.
That's actually not my report. That's the affidavit complaint. My report's about 5 pages long.
Okay. And so you seized the vehicle for failing to maintain a lane. You said, was any other traffic affected by the occurrence?
You were the only one on the road. You had a failure to maintain your lane several times and you drove over the curb.
What curve, actually?
The curb I stopped you at, I believe, was on Fairland.
Okay. Beyond at this time, I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Is any redirect from the state?
No, Your Honor.
And the witness be
Yes,
excused.
Your Honor.
So you can go about your day.
Either.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Beecham?
Your Honor, there's no actual competent and substantial evidence in the affidavit of complaint, nor was it any ticket issued for the actual, failing to maintain a lane, so, I mean, being that it was immediately after the arrest, I don't see how he had probable cause to stop me. And I actually asked him for, the sheriffs to verify that, hoping that he had a dash cam in his car.
Mr. Sullivan?
Whether a traffic ticket was issued or not is irrelevant.
Yeah, it was.
I have them find there's probable cause for the arrest, and I believe that's what I'm here today to do as far as the adversarial preliminary hearing. So I found there's probable cause. We'll need another court hearing.
Do we have this transcribed?
You can file a motion to have it transcribed, yes, sir. We need to set another hearing. You understand, Mr. Beecham, at any point in time that you ask for an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you meet the financial requirements. You want to set up for another pretrial? Beecham? Let's set it for April 18th at 9 o'clock.
All right, that wraps up the third case. Judge Clark rightly found probable cause, and this defendant is set to appear again in mid-April. Now let's move on to the fourth case, a 3-day trial that kicks off with the defendant and his attorney trying to argue why an invalid tag should be allowed as evidence. To be fair, his lawyer gives it a solid effort, but he's up against Judge Clark, and when it comes to handling sovereign citizen arguments, this judge is an absolute wall.
On the record, State of Florida versus Lee Forson Baker, case number 23 CF 3817. Mr. Baker's present. The courtroom appropriately dressed with Mr. Meredith and Mr. Paul, State Attorney Mr. Pereira, and Mr. Sullivan are also present. Deputy Dexter, we have all the jurors present.
They are present. They are. We had 2 that were in the restroom, and they'll be brought upstairs.
All right, very good. All right, anything we need to take up prior to bringing the jurors in?
Yes, Your Honor. After meeting with Mr. Baker yesterday, he expressed an interest in representing himself today again. So I don't know if he wants to. I'm not sure whether he wants to represent himself or not, because the second thing I would address is the state has filed a motion in limine that we object to. Depending on the ruling there, I'm not sure if that will affect Mr. Baker's decision.
All right, well, let's take it the motion in limine right now. It's the motion in limine. Mr. Ferrer, you filed it?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is moving, Your Honor, to exclude testimony of two things. First is testimony of the legality of his license plate, or any sort. My understanding is that Mr. Meredith intended to elicit testimony about the origin of the license plate. We feel that the probable cause is enough already with the rolling stop, that it would be irrelevant. The defendant is no longer in charge of any type of traffic offense. They're not legal defenses to the charge that he's brought with fleeing to, eluding, in the possession of drugs.
Your Honor, the state intends to introduce some body cam from Officer Elkins as in relation to the original stop, and Mr. Baker has his hands out of the window and is talking to the officer about what the reason for the stop is. There is a tag that's on there. In the edited version of the body cam, it is mentioned that the two reasons for the stop were rolling through a stop sign and either, I can't remember if it was bad tag or no tag or whatever. But I think that it's important for the jury to understand that the origin of this tag and what it represented. I, as an officer of the court and under the rules of the bar, I don't believe I could argue that it is a valid tag, but I think the origin of it is important for the.
What, it's not a valid tag. What does it matter what origin or the origin of this?
Well,
I'm not going down that road, Mr.
Mr. Baker felt that it was a legal tag.
Was it issued from the Department of Motor Vehicles from the state of Florida?
It was not.
Or the tax collector's office? It's not a legal tag.
If you'd like to see a photocopy of what it is.
It's a tag, yeah.
My tag is from the deal. It's a DOT number because my tag belongs to my trust. My DOT number is valid, so why wouldn't the tag be?
Nope, not going in. We're not going to talk about it.
Can I put anything on the record?
You can put it on the record, but I'm telling you, I'm not anything that's not a legal tag from the state of from one of the states of the United States, or I guess
It is. You got the information yesterday. He emailed you the information where the tag came from and what was going on with the tag.
Your Honor,
I can't have a custom tag.
Let Mr. Meredith make your argument, sir, please.
Your Honor, the number that's contained on the tag, the 412-5492, is a Department of Transportation number that is assigned to Mr. Baker. I have gone on their website. You can search that number, and when you do, it comes up with Mr. Baker's name, his address, and all his information. Now, depending on what we're allowed to do, his testimony would be as how he had obtained this and had gone through and got it from a third party in New Jersey. And because it had the Department of Transportation logo, which is the actual logo from the Department of Transportation, and it had his actual identifying number from the United States Department of Transportation, that he could display it.
Is it a legal valid tag? Can you make that argument?
Yes.
I cannot.
Okay, it's not coming in.
When you run the tag number,
It's not coming in, it's not on the record, and also the state's not charged him with a improper tag.
Exactly. I don't even have a ticket for anything that they pulled me over for.
That's not what you're going to trial for. All right, Mr. Meredith and Mr. Pereira. Anything else on that, Mr. Meredith?
I think that's paragraph 1,
Okay.
but there's a second paragraph.
Right.
There's a second paragraph on there. The state is looking to exclude any testimony in terms of defenses related to the defendant's status as a sovereign and/or a private citizen. I'd like to point the court to controlling authority in Barber versus Bay County Sheriff's Office Jail Facility. For the record, the site of that is 308 3rd Southern. It starts on page 254. I'd like to quote from this case, Your Honor, that says the sovereign citizen theory has no basis in the law, and parties that make it are in danger of court sanctions. And to our knowledge, no court in this country has ever found sovereign citizens to have any merit. They're relying on the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals decision in the United States versus Beneby. For the record, that's 654, 3rd Federal 753, where it talks about where it's just not specifically about sovereign citizens, but encapsulates all of the arguments there. So regardless of an individual's claimed status of descent, be it as a sovereign citizen, a secured party creditor, or a flesh and blood human being, that person is not beyond the jurisdiction, and the court is correct in rejecting all of those claims. However, they are presented and they should be rejected summarily.
Mr. Barrett, your response? We're not raising it as a defense, but I believe that Mr. Baker testifies for the jury to understand what was in his mind on October 7th of this past year. They need to understand his ideology, his understanding of what he was required to do and how he could live his life. It's not, again, I cannot raise it to a defense, but I think we need to talk about what he felt in his mind.
If it's not a defense, why is it relevant?
For the jury to understand what was going on in his mind during the stop and
well, proper what you think the testimony might be.
It goes back partially to the tag, but he had thought he had registered the tag properly through the United States Department of Transportation.
Mr. Baker, that's enough.
He had a license that wasn't from the state of Florida. It was an international license, but his license was suspended in the state of Florida. But when he was stopped, again, he was trying to ask the officer what was the purpose for the stop. The officer, immediately upon exiting his vehicle, prior to any fleeing, unholstered his service weapon, pointed it at the defendant, and began yelling at him to turn the car off. And after 30 to 40 seconds, fearing for his life, Mr. Baker left.
What does that have to do with being a private citizen or a sovereign citizen or anything like that?
Now that's a pretty weak excuse, because even in states where the law says you should pull over in a safe spot when an officer turns on their lights, it still means you need to stop as soon as possible. Nowhere does the law say you can take a scenic tour around town just to find the busiest place to pull over.